Hi, I'm August Keller, and this is my review of Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. So, this movie is a bit muddled. Um, its protagonist has relatable motivations, and there's loss and growth, but his arc feels a bit vague. He, as a person, changes, but I'm not sure what that change is saying exactly. Thematically, the conflict evokes ideas of political and religious distortions, how ideas can be weaponized to in twisted ways. There are also messages about coexistence, of course. But again, I feel like the messaging is a bit unclear, especially because the ending is fairly unresolved emotionally. It completes a plot, but it also kind of leads into a different story. So yeah, the plot is surprisingly simple despite being kind of convoluted. I know that kind of sounds like a contradiction, but it's when you really look at the plot itself, it's a simple plot, but in execution there's just a lot of other things weaving in and out that are more of like franchising ideas more than just the specific story at hand. On the positive, there's foreshadowing, world building, symbolism, and earned triumphs. On the negative, there's heavy exposition, crowded side characters, and a cliffhanger ending. The villain, especially, feels like wasted potential, and the human character feels like an incomplete piece of a different story, kind of shoved into this story. So, yeah, it all ends up feeling like a bit too much setup with not enough payoff. Meanwhile, the acting helps land all the emotions through intentional speech patterns and expressive facial work. The acting is good, but the emotions they're working with are pretty meandering. So yeah, as a whole, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes ends up feeling kind of like a stepping stone to me. It's got a good story in there, but it's just kind of watered down. Technically, this movie offers scale, but kind of clunky artistry, I'd say. The cinematography has adequate, even good angles, focus, and framing, but it's kind of sunk. The beauty of all that is sunk by like oddly drab colors, a lot of browns, and it just kind of feels murky a lot of the time. A lot of the same. The color palette never really varies. The editing feels pretty bloated with sputtering momentum. Despite some suspenseful sequences, it's ultimately just kind of too long and distracted by the franchising noise of all these other things that kind of like just distract and muddle it. The sound contrasts action and ambiance with emotional distortions and moments of silence. So it's both literal and emotional. The music is atmospheric and dramatic, but it's also pretty forgettable, not memorable in my opinion. There are motifs, but I couldn't pick them out in a lineup. The production design creates these budding societies, which are pretty immersive, but also become pretty monotonous after a while. Again, I think that has a lot to do with the colors being bland and all the imagery kind of looking the same. The cast is skilled, but largely replaceable. I don't feel like any specific cast member is essential, unlike a circus of the past. Circus, I think Andy Circus. I hope I'm saying his name right. The CGI is very pivotal. It's very essential to this experience. It's almost an animated movie, and it's mostly consistent. I would say it 85-90% of the time looks lifelike, and the rest of the 10% of the time looks kind of glossy. So overall, I would say that Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes is a muted success. It's a success, but not as not an explosive one. I liked it, but I found it to be weighed down by the franchising baggage. Not as bad as some other movies I've seen this year, but it is noticeable. I do think it kind of gets in the way. So that's about all I have to say about that. If you like what I'm doing here, please feel free to like and subscribe. You're also welcome to follow me on Instagram. My Instagram is linked in the description. But at the very least, I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.